Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. So it's been a hot minute since I uploaded a video on here, especially like a sort of chatty one like this. So I hope you guys enjoy it and learn something from it. Sorry about the Halloween decorations in the background, by the way. I was just filming some spooky videos and I haven't taken it down. So for those of you that don't know, today, October 10th, is World Mental Health Day. So to celebrate, should we celebrate Mental Health Day? I don't know. So in acknowledgement of Mental Health Day, I'm going to be talking to you about a musician's worst enemy, performance anxiety. I'm also going to be touching on some other struggles I've had, including self-doubt and imposter syndrome, and basically just telling you guys my journey with dealing with these things. Also, side note, while doing a bit of research on this, I did watch a multitude of videos that I watched for far too long before realising it was about sexual performance anxiety. This video is not about that. So most people don't know this, but I've actually suffered from performance anxiety and imposter syndrome for pretty much my whole professional career. So first of all, we're going to start with what are these wondrous concepts that I'm talking about. So firstly, we're going to start with a little science lesson. So performance anxiety occurs when the brain's fight or flight concept is triggered. If you suffer from performance anxiety, it's likely that at some point in the past you've had a bad experience performing, and therefore when you go to do that thing again, our body releases the hormones adrenaline and cortisol, which trigger the sympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for the flight or fight response. Both of the hormones are linked with stress and anxiety. These cause physical symptoms such as sweating, increased heart rate, that feeling of like butterflies in your stomach. It can also trigger cognitive symptoms like negative thoughts, poor sleep, and memory loss. So you know that you can nail that solo when you're at home in your bedroom and then you go on stage and you completely forget it. You've got those two little hormones to thank for that, as the anxiety and stress are taxing all of the body's resources. The selfish bastards. This can lead to a poor performance, or at least you thinking that you performed poorly even if you didn't, and this will therefore lead to more stress and anxiety revolving around performing, and the response is strengthened and the cycle continues. Okay, science lesson over. So after a bit of reflection on myself, I had a breakthrough where I basically realised where my performance anxiety has come from. So when I was about 9 or 10, I played guitar in a school assembly at my primary school. And funnily enough, this was the very first and very last time I ever actively seeked out and arranged a solo performance for myself. Since then, I have rather reluctantly agreed when people invite me to play. Anyway, I was playing that song, what's that coming over the hill? Is it a monster? Is it a monster? Remember when the automatic were like this shit? Those are the days. So I was playing that song, and generally my playing and the performance was okay. But I had some technical difficulties with my amp, and basically it completely died halfway through and cut out, so I had no sounds, and it was very embarrassing. In addition to that, I was basically wearing this kind of jean vest thing, and I remember people saying I looked like a scarecrow and just saying I looked really stupid and stuff, and they weren't wrong, but still, I thought I looked really cool. So yeah, it wasn't like this massive traumatic event, but for me, that was my very first performance. So since then, I've learned that performing equals being made fun of and just generally negative emotions and the feeling that things will just go wrong. And obviously, that's not the best way to view performing as a professional musician, which I now am. So it's a shame. You know, I really envy those musicians who can be like in the zone when they're playing live and they like don't even really have to prepare, they can just do it. I think that's the difference in like musical upbringings that you can have. So if you're used to performing and playing with people from like a really young age, then it kind of becomes second nature to you. You're not really thinking about it, you're just kind of letting it happen. Whereas, you know, I came from a small town and I didn't really know any other musicians at all until I went to uni, so I didn't really play with anyone up until I was about 18 or something. The majority of my musical experiences from then on were online. You know, I was performing online, everything was all uploaded. So I learned to think more critically of my performance and to plan it a bit more because I'd have the time and resources to do that because it wasn't live. So basically this gave me the power to control how others would see me play and present myself in a certain way. Now, fast forward to today, and I've made a career out of being a content creator and musician online, which is my actual dream come true for me, obviously, but it does come with its gripes. As it's online, I can sit and film for a whole day until I get the perfect take, and you guys will never see that. You won't see me mess up millions of times. You won't see my mental breakdowns that I can't play and I think I'm shit or whatever. You guys will just see the finished product, my finished video of me like, yeah. It's my impression of myself, because actually you did see one of my mental breakdowns.
It's okay.
Completely threw me off.
It's totally okay, come on.
Honestly, and I just went into the wrong key and everything.
No, honestly, it's fine.
You know.
Only you know.
Nobody
right?
knows.
No one knows. Am I live again? Oh, how do I end it?
So when I'm filming, this is when I suffer with severe self-doubt. And I know a lot of other people suffer with self-doubt too, so I just sort of wanted to explain what it's like for me, so maybe you guys can see some similarities, or I don't know. So I am, and I always have been, a massive overthinker. I just can't seem to get my brain to shut off at all, no matter what the situation. And it's like I always have this little person in my brain, let's call him Dave, we all know a dick called Dave, Dickie Dave. But yeah, so there's Dave in my brain, and he's basically trying to sabotage everything I do. So I'll be playing a song, you know, doing pretty well, and good old Dave will pop up and be like, oh, don't mess up, you're really close to the end, don't mess up. And like, kind of like, you know, like bait me, if you know what I mean. And obviously then I'll mess up, you know, because you just do. And then obviously when you mess up, that means the voice gets worse and is telling you suck, you're shit, you know, you don't deserve to be this. Yeah, and that makes it really, really difficult to film sometimes, and it just makes you question yourself and who you are, I guess, and what you're doing. I don't know. You know, having said all of that, luckily I do actually generally really enjoy filming, and I've got a pretty good system going now, so I don't mind doing it if the end product is something I'm really, really proud of. And of course, now we live in the world of social media where everyone looks like they have the perfect lives or the perfect body or the perfect guitar player or whatever, and we don't see behind the scenes of the hours of practice, the hundreds of takes, and the self-criticism that goes into making those videos. But because we don't see that side of things, we then start to compare ourselves to these unobtainable people. And that leads me to my next point, which is imposter syndrome. So for those of you that don't know, imposter syndrome is basically the belief that you are not as capable as others think you are, and you have a deep fear of being exposed as a fraud or as an imposter. It's like you can't shake the feeling that you haven't actually earned your accomplishments. You just kind of got lucky, and no threshold of accomplishments, or no matter how many people tell you how great you are or whatever, will ever put that feeling to rest. It's basically you feel well out of your depth while very much being in too deep. 'Cause I'm in too deep. Now, I didn't actually know about this until a few months ago, and when I was reading about it, I was like, whoa, that is 100% me. So as I said before, as my whole career has grown online and in the world of social media, and no one has ever really seen behind the scenes, I feel like I've created this bar of excellence that is just unobtainable for me. I basically raised expectations quite high for my playing, I guess, being online, having never done a live show, that when people see me live, I feel like, you know, I can't reach those expectations. I'm like down here somewhere. But yeah, this has had a massive impact on my career, and I truly believe that I have definitely had a hand in sabotaging my own success. You may have noticed that, like I said, I never really play live. I've never had a tour. I never really do podcasts or interviews. I don't audition for things. I don't live stream. Like, I've probably missed so many opportunities, all because, frankly, I'm absolutely fucking terrified that I'll mess up and someone will realise I'm an imposter and it'll be all over, and I'll just kind of have to sit back like, yeah, fair enough. I had a good run. But I don't want to. I like doing this stuff. I feel like I'm kind of like outing myself as an imposter now, but I'm not. Like, I can play. Like, I want to clarify something through all of this. Like, just because I have performance anxiety, self-doubt, and imposter syndrome, it does not mean that I think I am bad at guitar, nor should you now believe that I'm bad at guitar. I truly believe that I am a great guitarist, and I think I'm an amazing composer, and I've worked so hard and overcome so much to be where I am today, and I'm so proud of myself for that. And thankful to all of you guys for believing in me and seeing kind of past, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Just thanks. But, you know, whenever I actually talk to anyone about this, I am honestly so shocked by how many people actually feel the same way. Like, when you get older, you literally just realise that everyone is just winging it. No one really knows what they're doing at all. We're just pretending and hoping that one day everything will finally click. I think that when you realise that, the world becomes a much less scary place. Until you start thinking that probably people in politics have no idea what they're doing and the government have no idea what they're doing. So now we're going to move on to the important part, which is how to cope with these things. So I've created a list of coping mechanisms. Mechanisms is a hard word. So I've created a list of coping mechanisms that I've used to help me overcome all of this stuff, and I hope that you will find it helpful too. So number one is change the script. This is basically encouraging ourselves to have a more positive mindset. So instead of thinking, oh, I suck, this is going to be awful, what if I mess up, think, what if I do amazing? What if this is the best performance of my life? Instead of thinking about all the times that you've messed up, think about all the times you've succeeded and that you've surpassed your own expectations. Even if you don't really believe it at first when you're telling this to yourself, enforcing this positive mindset will be really, really helpful and will actually make you enjoy performing more, and you'll associate the good feelings instead of the bad feelings with it. Number two is build your abilities and practice. Allow more time to work on the things that you're weak at. It's super easy to get into the habit of just practicing the things that you're already really good at, but be sure to push yourself to learn something new pretty much every time you pick up a guitar. Also, if you know you've got a performance coming up, practice in different situations that will kind of mimic the live scene. So practice standing up for one, practice with loud distractions, get some, audience cheers or even audience boos up on the TV playing really, really loud. Practice with people like throwing balls at you, just practice in weird situations where you've got a multitude of distractions going on so that you kind of get used to playing no matter what is going on around you. And when you get really comfortable with this, you'll know and you'll believe that you can do it in kind of any situation you face. Number three is shift your focus onto the audience. Now, this one may seem a little bit weird at first, but I found that when performing live, it's actually a hell of a lot easier when you really connect to the audience. So make eye contact with them, smile at them, laugh with them, high five them, whatever you want to do. This creates the mood that you're kind of all in it together and that they're just your friends and you're all just having a good time together. Then if you mess up, it's not as high pressure, you don't feel as bad as you're just sort of on the same level as everyone and you can kind of make a joke about it. And the performances just aren't really so serious, they're just a bit of fun, which is what live music's meant to be. It's meant to be fun. Number four is stop comparing yourself to other people. Everyone is on their own journey, doing their own thing. It's so easy to see the people around you in the same field as occupation and think of them as competition. But they're not. They're your colleagues. They are the people that will help you out the most. So, don't hate, collaborate. God, that was lame. I hate myself. No, I love myself. Flipping that script. Number five is seek professional help. If you are really, really struggling with this to the point that it is genuinely really affecting your life, I really recommend seeking help from professionals, as there are some great options out there to really help you overcome this. And there is absolutely no shame in doing this, no matter who you are. I personally am on antidepressant and anti-anxiety medication, and I've also been through multiple sessions of counselling, and it has honestly helped me so much. It has completely turned my life around, and I'm so thankful that I did it. So if you're really struggling, I really, really recommend you seek some help. I'll leave some websites and stuff down in the description below that you can check out if you're struggling. And finally, number six, the number of the beast. If the beast is crippling depression, fucking hell. Number six is get comfortable being uncomfortable. So this is the one that I am struggling with the most at the moment and probably the hardest thing on the list for me. But basically we want to make an extra effort to put ourselves out of our comfort zone, as the more we get used to these situations that cause us to feel that anxious response, the better and better that you will feel about them. I remember the first performance I did with my old band, I was absolutely terrified and it wasn't that great a performance at all. Everything was kind of all over the place. But 2 tours later and I'm jumping on tables, bending over backwards, got all my rock moves down. I don't know what this is. This isn't a very good rock move. And I don't even question if I'm going to hit the right notes for the solo because I know that they will just fall under my fingers. However, having said that, although I got really good at performing with that band, it is very different with my solo stuff, as it is something that I care so deeply about. And I've never been like the centre of it all. I've never been like a front woman, so to speak. So it's almost like I have to start right at the beginning, which I did. I actually had my first gig on February the 22nd, but then we all went into lockdown and the UK government decided live music should die. So following on from that point, I actually want to start doing a series on my channel where I put myself in these uncomfortable situations that I am so scared of. For example, trying busking for the first time, watching my old performance videos where I mess everything up, or maybe even getting like a ECG of like a brain scan or something to see what's going on in the brain in these situations. I don't know, there's loads of ideas I've got for it. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you thumbs up this video so I know, and comment down below if that's something you'd be interested in. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. It was something a little bit different. I rarely sort of open up like this online, but I'd like to start doing it a little bit more. I just feel like mental health is such an important thing to talk about, especially in the music scene, because it's really not spoken about that much here. It's sort of a taboo subject in the music industry. If you found this video interesting and you would like to hear me talk a little bit more about my journey with music and mental health, I was interviewed on an episode of the Inner Light podcast presented by my sister and life coach, Hayley Lloyd. So if you would like to check that out, I will leave the link in the description. And it's really interesting. We had a great chat about all things musical and mental health. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I didn't blabber on too much, and I really hope that you learned something or helped you realise that you're not alone in any of this. I love you guys. Bye.